And the last one of these guys trying to take over Monsteropolis is a dude named Mr. X, who is the CEO of what I'm calling Creaturetopia. What's unique about this business, other than nothing at all, is that Mr. X has hired robots who were originally designed to fight each other. It's sort of like if Goldman Sachs hired a bunch of MMA fighters and WWE wrestlers. What's pretty cool about these guys is that they all have a nation of origin and are located in those nations, somewhere. Let's go see them. Playman is from the Middle East and is stationed in an oil field. Already some burning hot red flags. But Playman is at least cautious. He's punctual, changes his oil 3 times a day, but his specific routine has made him demanding. He has a sports turban and likes taking care of his mustache. He is, however, pretty fussy and demands only the best in any situation, whether it be using the best oil or using what he believes are the best employees. Those employees are fire boys, fire tellies, mets, and pookers. The fact that he set up shop in an oil field and hired a bunch of dudes who can set the oil on fire is both pretty reckless and also a genuinely galaxy-brained move. Playman is a good boss. Lizardman hails from an artificial frozen island off the coast of the Great White North. Good old Canada, eh? Unfortunately, unlike the stereotypical Canadian, he's very shoot first, ask questions later, and is really tough and shady because of it. Like actual Canadians. It's not all that bad. He's a good commentator and apparently got a job as a weatherman later on. Apart from that, he's hired some Ow-Ow's, God's gift to mankind. Hammer Joe's cousin Cannon Joe, shield attackers GTR, Curlingers, Tex, and Squidons acting as the higher-ups, despite being pretty lazy and not doing much. As much as these guys actually fit in and seem like they're the perfect guys for their jobs, none of them are really that proactive, and only seem to be working when Mega Man shows up. Except for Ow-Ow, he could literally do nothing wrong. All in all, Blizzardman's an okay boss, eh? Plantman is from the ancient, forgotten land of Brazil.
Please come to Brazil.
Plantman, like many people in other Robot Masters, is very sensitive and can be depressed very easily. Cheers, bro, I'll drink to that. But he also has an affinity with plant life, being able to actually communicate with them, like a weird fusion between Poison Ivy and Beachcomber. Look him up. Anyway, he basically asks Mega Man to come to Brazil and visits his forest, where he's hired Bata Batons, Gab Gyos, Heli Batons, Jet Batons, Power Slams acting as muscle, and Gorilla Tanks working in upper management with their iron fists that they cannot uncurl. Going with a wildlife theme of employees rather than a plant-based workforce is a pretty risky move for a guy who's all about plants. But then you realize that his facility is basically in the middle of the Amazon. Plantman is a good boss and deserves to run his own botanical garden in peace. In the barren, desolate land of Nevada, Area 51 in particular, stands a lone warrior who destroys anything he deems as an injustice to robotkind. That warrior is Hawkman. Alright, I'm gonna be for real, breaking character and everything. This design, this concept, it's a bit of a cultural mess. You know how people talk about cultural appropriation? Yeah, this is the kind of thing those people mean. Unless the robot is designed by a Native American who wanted to honor their heritage and their ancestors, this shit doesn't fly. It's a problem Capcom has with their racism. Other Japanese game companies do this, but Capcom is more guilty of it than others. I'm kind of making a big deal out of it, but it's how I really feel. Anyway, back to the video. Tomahawk Man, for some reason, decided to use mostly cowboy culture as an influence with the people he decided to hire. He's got the gunslinging Coltons, Thorns, spitting, Hotchkissing Mets, who are still doing their very best, even when being spat out of a big container. A power slammer, a shield attacker GTR, the straggling Skullwalker, shot spewing Tex, and the rip roaring Twin Rotor. Apart from those guys, there's nothing really stand out about Tomahawk Man, apart from the fact that his place is really gorgeous. He knew the best place to have a final showdown against a real evildoer. Or maybe he knew that he had become what he despised most and wanted to be punished. Maybe he decided to rid the world of one evildoer in particular. He knew that his sins would catch up to him, so he decided to stop running and let him come, but not without a fight. Tomahawk Man is a good boss. Yamato Man hails from, well, take a wild fucking guess, but apparently he sees an ancient Japanese castle and set up base in there, since it's known as the Impregnable Fortress. He's got what's called the Yamato Damashi, which basically means he's filled with the spirit of Japan, whatever that means. Seriously, it's kind of a nebulous definition, but it's generally good. He's also incredibly shy, bad with money, but full of virility. He's hired quite a lot of people, so let's make it quick. He's got Benkeis, Dashon Limited Editions, Gabgyos, Kantonbyons, Shigarakis, Spring-Faced Time Bombs, and techs with Shadow Yosuke acting as upper management. Yamato Man may have an honorable spirit, but he's not entirely smart with handling his resources. He's an okay boss. You know who is smart? Nightman. He's so smart, he's holed up in a castle in Germany, located in what's literally known as the capital of science. He's chivalrous and honorable, but he's also inflexible, has a single-track mind and hates dirty tricks, both implementing them and fighting someone who uses them. In this capital of science, he's got a few people running around such as Brain Breaks, Browns, Skullwalkers, and a Twin Rotor. This dude would be receiving a passing grade if it weren't for the fact that his workplace is filled to bursting with traps and hazards, similar to actual castles in medieval times. Because of that and the fact that he doesn't issue his workers hazard pay, Nightman is an okay boss. Centaur Man is the only robot master who's a quadruped. This doesn't mean anything, as he just teleports everywhere, but still. In this area that straddles the line between a normal water place and basically Atlantis but filled with robots, he's hired Choker-Os, Gapgyos, Pelicanus, Hookers, Squidons, submarine flyers. There's some hazards to working here, but it's all mitigated by the fact that everyone who works here can either swim or fly. As for Centaur Man, he's decisive and can make good decisions very quickly. However, he can sometimes think for too long, specifically about his past and regrets. Also, he's very interested in gambling, which makes sense considering he's gambling his success with having a legit recreation of Atlantis just out there in the world, easy to discover. Regardless, he's a good boss. Windman is from China, Liberate Hong Kong, and has a mechanical tower built high into the sky. He's a good cook, loves kung fu movies, and practices martial arts. However, he's also just terrible at riding bikes and hates herbal medicines. He's hired only a few guys to keep an eye on the tower, which is raised high above the Chinese citizens. Hong Kong deserves freedom. Those people are Panditas, Power Slants, and Twin Rotors. Windman, despite the fact that he's a pretty swell dude, has slightly overestimated the fact that his employees can't actually fly. Power Slammer kinda can, but not exactly. Because of this, he's an okay boss.
解放香港
Mega Man 6 has quite a few cool dudes, mostly in terms of design, but not anyone that's worth taking into an actual company where you can do actual work with actual people.